Hi everyone, welcome to the fifth lecture of this control system series. Now let's see what we are going to study in this particular video. First, we are going to discuss about the time response of the first order control system. Second, the time response of the second order control system. So now move on to our topic. Time response of the first order control system. So a first order control system is given as this. The type of this kind of system is 0 and the order is 1. Okay. So now let's see what is the overall CS upon RS or the overall transfer function of this system. The overall transfer function is given as this is GS, which is GS upon 1 plus GS HS, where HS is 1. So the overall transfer function will be this. Now the value of CS will be given as RS into the whole transfer function. Now in time response, what we do is we put different values of RS. By different values of RS, I mean different types of input like unit step, ramp or parabolic, etc. And we find CT by taking the inverse Laplace of this whole function. And the CT is regarded as the time response of the system. So that's all we do in time response for a particular system. So now let's see how we find a time response for a unit input. Now we have this CS is equal to RS into 1 upon ST plus 1. Now here the input is impulse, so RS will be 1. Now if we will put the value of RS in here, it will become like this. And now for finding CT, we have to take the inverse Laplace of this. So for taking the inverse Laplace, first we have to take common t from here. So it will become 1 upon t. Okay. I think something is wrong here because if we take t common here, the 1 by t is multiplied. So it will become here, it will not 1, it is 1 upon t. Okay. And with that also 1 upon t is multiplied. Now this is correct. The response of first order system with unit impulse input. Now if we plot the graph of this response, it will look like this. For 0, we will get 1 upon t. Here the capital T is referred as the time constant. Okay. Not tau, but we are taking capital T as a time constant here. And now this value, where time constant is t, this is the 63% of the whole response, and it is settling at 4t. Okay. So that's all we do in time response, and we will perform the same operation for the unit step input also. Unit step. In the unit step, RS is given as 1 upon S. So we have to just put the value of RS in here. Okay. Now we have to separate it by partial fraction method. And now we have to take the inverse Laplace. Before the inverse Laplace, we have to take t in common, and with t, this t will get cancelled out. So here we will get 1. And after that, the response will be given as 1 minus e raised to power minus t upon capital T, where capital T is the time constant of the system. and the response will look like this. This part is transient part. This is the steady state part. As I have already told you in the very starting of this chapter, that what is the transient response and what is steady state response. Okay, and as you can see that time constant is given as the 63% of the steady state value, and it is being settled at 4t. Okay, this is the settling time. We will discuss settling time later in this video only. Okay, and what is 4t and 2t, we will talk about it. This for now, please understand that this response is for unit step. Okay, we have to calculate the response and plot the graph only. Now moving on to next, we will calculate the response for unit ramp function. So now unit ramp input, in which Rs is given as 1 upon s square. Okay, now we'll put the value of Rs from here to here. Now we have to separate this by partial fraction method, and now we have to take the inverse Laplace of this, which is given as this, and now we have to plot the graph of the response, which will look like this. This response is the steady state response, and this is the steady state error. This gap is the steady state error. Okay, this is the time constant t. Okay, and what is steady state error we are going to study in the next class. For now, only understand this gap is the steady state error for फर्स्ट ऑर्डर सिस्टम इन यूनिट रैम्प इनपुट. ठीक है, अब इस चीज को थोड़ा हिंदी में समझ लें. रिस्पॉन्स में मतलब हम लोग कुछ नहीं करते हैं, जैसे CS है हमारा, ठीक है, तो हमें रिस्पॉन्स टाइम रिस्पॉन्स में कुछ नहीं करना होता है, बस CT निकालना होता है. CT कैसे निकालेंगे? इनवर्स लाप्लास से. अब ये चीज हम लोग ज्यादा समझ पाएंगे अगर न्यूमेरिकल करेंगे जब इस पे, तब हमें ज्यादा समझ में आएगा. ठीक है, अभी बस ये चीज समझना है कि कोई सिस्टम है तो उसका 3 तरीके से हम लोग निकाल सकते हैं. एक इसका इम्पल्स यूनिट के साथ, इम्पल्स के साथ, यूनिट स्टेप के साथ और यूनिट रैम्प के साथ. तो वो तीनों चीज जो है हमने डिस्कस कर ली. बस उसका CT निकालना है और ग्राफ प्लॉट करना है. ठीक है, तो नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट टाइप, we have to discuss the time response of second order control system, which is very important for the competitive exams, क्योंकि जो इसमें सबसे ज्यादा क्वेश्चन जो है इसी से बनते हैं. टाइम रिस्पॉन्स ऑफ द सेकेंड ऑर्डर कंट्रोल सिस्टम, और सबसे ज्यादा बनेगा इस पार्ट से कि टाइम रिस्पॉन्स विथ यूनिट स्टेप, उसी से सबसे ज्यादा बनता है. उसके डेरिवेशन वगैरह तो हम लोग देखेंगे, जो कि सारा चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है, वो सभी चीज हम लोग यहाँ पे कवर करेंगे. ठीक है, सो नाउ लेट्स स्टार्ट. Second order system is given as this. Okay, now let's discuss about some parameters like what is omega n, what is zeta. Let's discuss that first. So zeta is known as the damping ratio. Omega n is known as the natural frequency at which the system oscillate. As I have told you about the underdamped response, that the system oscillates over there like this. Okay, let me show you, let me remind you. The system oscillates over this decaying or type of oscillation. Okay, so that frequency was the natural frequency. The frequency by which the system will oscillate, that is the natural frequency. Okay, now let's take a look over next. Omega d, this is the omega d is known as the damping frequency, and it is given as omega n under root 1 minus zeta square. This is the damping frequency. I'm just explaining the terms here. Okay, next is zeta omega n. Zeta omega n is called as damping factor, actual damping, or damping coefficient. Don't get confused it with damping ratio. Damping ratio is different, it is only zeta. Zeta omega n is damping factor or actual damping or damping coefficient. Okay, So now let's discuss about the representation of pole of this whole system. Then we will move on to next. Let's discuss first about the representation of poles, how we represent the poles of this system in a complex plane or S-plane. Okay. Let's find out the pole first of this system. The poles will be given as making the denominator is equal to 0. So now we have to find the pole of this characteristic equation. This characteristic equation where we have this S. Now this is in a form of quadratic equation which we can solve by using the formula minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a, which is very basic math. So now let's apply the formula. Here b is this term, this whole term is b, this term is b. So minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac, 4 into a is 1 and c is omega n square upon 2. Now let's further solve it. Now omega n will be out, 4 omega n will be out of the bracket and become 2 omega n. Okay. So now let's cancel out these two, all the two, these two will be cancelled out, and finally we will get s equal to minus zeta omega n plus omega n under root zeta square, which in which this term, this particular term, this term is omega d, damping frequency, as I have already told you that this is represented as omega d. Okay, so now let's see the representation in complex plane. Now we have 4 cases. Okay, first zeta equal to 1, 0, greater than 1 and less than 1. Okay, we have 4 cases. For all these 4 cases, we have to discuss the location of the poles. Okay, so first poles are given as this plus minus, which became 2 poles, and this whole term omega, and this whole term is referred as omega d. So now let's see the pole for zeta equal to 0. If zeta equal to 0, this term will become 0 and this will become 1. So it will become plus minus omega n, plus minus omega n. Okay, no, it will not become 1, it will become minus j, because under root of minus 1 is a complex number which represented as minus j. So the roots will be plus minus j omega n and represented as plus minus j omega n represented in a complex plane like this. This only complex roots are there. For zeta equal to 1, this term will become 0 and root will be minus zeta omega n, which is repeated roots, because we have s power 2 over here. So it is s equal to minus zeta omega n, 2 roots are repeated for zeta equal to 1. Now for zeta greater than 1, it will become positive value. It will become a positive value. This root will become a positive value. So it will not go in complex plane, as inside the under root it is a positive value. So it will not go in a complex plane. It will simply remain in this line only. But the roots will be different. Okay. Now let's see what will be the roots. Okay. Different roots, but will not go in complex plane, will stays in real plane only. For zeta less than 1, it will become complex. It will become complex and will be given as this j omega d. Okay, this will remain here and it will given as j omega d. So the representation of poles will be this. here in the complex plane only. ठीक है, इस चीज को एक बार हिंदी में समझते हैं। मतलब कि देखिए, जैसा कि ये है, तो इसमें जो जीटा का वैल्यू है वो डिपेंड कर रहा है, मतलब ये पोल का जो वैल्यू है वो डिपेंड कर रहा है जीटा पे। तो उसमें 4 केस बनेंगे, जीटा इक्वल टू 0 पे, 1 पे, ग्रेटर देन 1 पे, लेस देन 1 पे। तो 0 हो जाएगा ये, तो ये रूट के अंदर वाला जो है पूरा का पूरा हमारा कॉम्प्लेक्स हो जाएगा। ठीक है, जब सिर्फ कॉम्प्लेक्स हो जाएगा, ये टर्म भी 0 हो जाएगा जीटा 0 की वजह से। तो सिर्फ कॉम्प्लेक्स प्लेन पे आएंगे पोल्स, दो अलग अलग कॉम्प्लेक्स प्लेन पे आएंगे। इक्वल टू 1 हो जाएगा तो ये पूरा का पूरा टर्म हमारा 0 हो जाएगा। तो रिपीटेड टाइप ऑफ रूट्स मिलेंगे हमें। ठीक है, अब ग्रेटर देन 1 हो जाएगा तो ये हमारा एक पॉजिटिव वैल्यू हो जाएगी अंडर रूट के अंदर। ठीक, तो ये हमारा कॉम्प्लेक्स प्लेन में यहाँ पे जो जे है वो आएगा ही नहीं, तो ये हमारा रियल प्लेन में ही रह जाएगा, लेकिन दो अलग अलग वैल्यू मिलेंगी। इसको कहेंगे डिस्टिंक्ट रूट्स। ठीक, इस तरीके से हमारा। ठीक है, और लेस देन अगर रहेगा तब हमारा अंडर रूट में जो रहेगा ये कॉम्प्लेक्स में चला जाएगा, मतलब जे आएगा ही आएगा, क्योंकि जीटा लेस देन 1 है तो उसका स्क्वायर और भी 1 से छोटा हो जाएगा, माइनस करेंगे तो वो और ज्यादा नेगेटिव हो जाएगा, तो वो हमारा यहाँ पे जे आएगा ही आएगा। ठीक है, तो ये हमारा अगर लेस देन रहेगा तो ये कॉम्प्लेक्स प्लेन में ही जाएगा। ठीक है, ओके। सो अब इसको क्या कहते हैं, जीटा इक्वल टू अगर 0 रहेगा तो हमारा जो रिस्पॉन्स रहेगा वो अनडैम्प्ड रहेगा। ठीक, इक्वल टू 1 रहेगा, so the response will be referred as critically damped. ठीक, greater than 1 the response will be referred as overdamped, less than 1 the response will be referred as underdamped response. ओके, तो ये हमारा हो गया रेस्पॉन्स किसके बेसिस पे, लोकेशन ऑफ पोल्स के बेसिस पे रेस्पॉन्स हो गया। इस तरीके के क्वेश्चंस जो है पूछ लेता है कि लोकेशन ऑफ पोल्स यहाँ पे है तो रिस्पॉन्स किस तरीके का होगा। ठीक है, यहाँ पे है तो रिस्पॉन्स किस तरीके का होगा, और वो हम देखेंगे कि ये रिस्पॉन्स जो है जीटा की वैल्यू पे कैसे डिपेंड करता है, उसको हम लोग आगे स्टडी करेंगे। विल स्टडी इट फर्दर दैट हाउ द रिस्पॉन्स इज डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द वैल्यू ऑफ जीटा। ओके, so now let's move further and see another concept. For another concept, now let's take underdamped response in which the location of poles is given like this, as we have seen earlier. Now this pole, consider this pole, and let's say a line is joining this pole to this origin. Okay, and suppose this angle is given as phi, and this pole having the value of zeta omega n plus omega d, and this will be minus omega d, minus zeta omega n minus omega d. Okay, as we have studied about the underdamped poles. So distance up to this will be plus j omega d or j omega d, and distance up to this will be minus zeta omega n, or if we consider only distance then it will be given as zeta omega n only. Now let's say this distance, this dotted line, is given as x. So what will be the value of x if we try to find out? Here we can see that we have a right angle triangle, so we apply Pythagoras rule here. So x will be given as this. This is the base square and this is the perpendicular square and whole in an under root. Now resolving more, omega d having a value of omega n under root zeta square minus 1, as we have seen, and minus j square is given as minus 1. So minus here and j will be removed. Okay, now let's move further and square this term. We will get this value. Now omega n is multiplied inside, and this term will get cancelled, and this will become plus omega n square. So the x will be given as omega n only. Okay, so this distance is omega n. So now we have to find that what will be the cosine of this angle. Let's find the cosine of this angle. So cosine is given as base upon hypotenuse. So cosine will be given as let's first say this x equal to omega n, and now cosine will be given as base, which is zeta omega n upon omega n, is given by zeta. Okay, so this formula is very important for solving numericals, and this is asked in various competitive examination, and this is also important for our next topic, which is derivation of second order response with a unit step function. Okay, so just remember that zeta equal to cos of phi, and similarly if we have to find the sine of phi, it is given as under root 1 minus zeta square. Okay, just remember this, I'm squaring it out. Now we will see that what will be the response of a second order system with unit step input. जैसे कि हमने पहले किया था, मतलब फर्स्ट ऑर्डर में यूनिट स्टेप के साथ, रैंप के साथ, इसमें हम लोग देखेंगे यूनिट स्टेप के साथ, और इसमें मतलब जो सिलेबस है उसके अकॉर्डिंग सिर्फ यही इंपॉर्टेंट है, माई यूनिट स्टेप अकॉर्डिंग टू द सिलेबस ओनली यूनिट स्टेप फंक्शन फॉर सेकेंड ऑर्डर system is very important, and from there only the questions are asked, so we will focus on that only. Okay, unit ramp will be a little bit lengthier and tough, and it is not in our syllabus, so we will see about what happened if we apply unit step in a second order system. So we have second order system like given like this. Okay, and if we apply unit step, then rs will be given as 1 upon s. So we have to put the value of rs from here to here. So 1 upon s multiplied by this. Now we have to make this in the form of perfect square. Now let's see what happened. Okay, so these are the poles. So s minus of zeta omega n minus j omega d, then plus j omega d. Then it will become s plus zeta omega n plus j omega d minus j omega d. Then as you can see, this is a plus a, this term is whole term, as we can say a, and this is b. So a plus b into a minus b will become a square minus b square. So this square minus this square, and j square will become minus 1. So minus minus will be plus, then it will be plus omega d's whole square. Now we will see what happen if we try to reduce it further, as I told you. As I have told you, the reduced response will look like this. Now we will separate these things by partial fraction, and we will get the result as this. Now this term 2 zeta omega n will be written as 1 plus 1. So it will become this. Now we have minus in here, and we will separate this whole term. Let me show you. We will take this whole term upon this whole term, and with this upon this. So minus is here, so it will become minus it if we separate it from this thing. So let's see what it will look like. Okay, this upon the whole term, and minus is here, so minus here, and this upon the whole denominator. So now this is a Laplace, this can be Laplace of unit function, so it will become 1. This will be Laplace of cos, and this, for this to become Laplace of sine, we have to get an omega d here, so we have to multiply it and divide it by omega d, so we can make it a perfect Laplace transform. So to do it, we will multiply it by omega d upon omega d. Now it is a perfect Laplace of sine, and we have a delay of zeta omega n here, so it will be covered as we multiply e raised to the power minus zeta omega n with the term. So now let's see what will be the reduced form. Okay, now we have to take the Laplace inverse of the whole. So Laplace inverse of this will become 1. This is the Laplace of cosine, and this we have a delay in here, so we will get multiplied, it will get multiplied by e raised to the power minus zeta omega n, and same thing will be done for this also. But here we have two constants, this and this. So they will remain as it is they are. So now let's see what will be the Laplace transform of this whole function. 1 minus e raised to the power minus zeta omega n cos of omega dt minus these terms are the constant one, so it will remain as it is. And similar thing, this is a perfect Laplace of sine, so sine is here, and delay of zeta omega n, so e raised to power minus zeta omega nt is multiplied with this term. Now omega d is given as omega n upon under root 1 zeta square minus 1, so it will be given as this thing, and here omega n and omega n will get cancelled out. So now it will look like something, but we can take e raised to power minus zeta omega nt and this term common. So by taking common, this thing will get multiplied here with the cos term. Okay, and minus we are also taking common, so this will become plus. So now let's see what will be the reduced form look like, and zeta we have here, so zeta will be multiplied with sine. It will be look like this, and here zeta is given as cos, so 1 minus zeta square will be given as sine. Zeta is given as cos, so sine phi will be given as under root of 1 minus zeta square. So now we have to put the value of zeta and under root 1 minus zeta square in this bracket only. Now let's see what will happen. Okay, sine phi into cos. Now this will look like a formula of sine A cos B plus cos A sine B, and it is represented by sine A plus B. So now let's see what happens further. Finally we got this term, and as I've told you, this is a formula for sine A plus B, so the reduced form is given as this. This is A, this is B into T. Okay. Actually, I think something is wrong here, because this T will not come here. Okay, so I am going to remove this T. Wait, let me just remove this T. This T will not come here because we have already taken omega dt. So this T term will not come here. Now it is correct, which is the response of second order system with unit step function. This is our resultant response. Now if we have zeta less than 1, it will look like this, which is given as underdamped response. Okay, now if zeta is greater than 1, the response will be overdamped, as we have studied. Okay, and if zeta will be equal to 1, then response will be critically damped response, as we have studied. The response will remain same for unit step function. It will not going to change it. Okay, the curve also will remain the same. So now moving on to our next topic, we will discuss that what are the parameters, or we can say time domain specification, we are going to derive for this second order system with unit step input. Okay, so let's see what is that. Now time domain specification. Our first specification will be rise time. As I've told you, rise time is the time in which response of the system became 100% of its value, and in graphical representation it is given as this. This is the rise time in which it is becoming like 100% of its value, 0 to 100%. टाइम टेकन फॉर द वैल्यू टू रीच 0 to 100%, मतलब 0 से 100% पहुंचने के लिए जो टाइम लगा उसे जो है राइज टाइम कहते हैं। अब इसे मतलब कैलकुलेट कैसे करेंगे हम लोग अपने रिस्पॉन्स के लिए, जो भी हमारा अंडर डैम्प्ड रिस्पॉन्स आया है उसके लिए हम लोग इसे कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे। तो हमारा जो रिस्पॉन्स आया था इट इज गिवन एज दिस। तो अब क्या करना है कि 0 पे तो इसकी वैल्यू 0 ही है, 100 पे इसकी वैल्यू जो है ये 1 हो जाएगी, ठीक है। तो ct की वैल्यू यहाँ पे हम लोग 1 ले लेते हैं, ct will be given as 1. So 1 and 1 will get cancel out, this whole term will be equal as 0. Okay, minus will be also gone because it is equal to 0. So now here we have two terms in which this term, let me show you by marker highlighting this term and this term, either term is 0. So we will take sine omega dt plus phi is equal to 0, as this term will not equal to 0, because this term, if this whole term will equal to 0, this will become infinite, which is not possible here. तो यहाँ पे जो साइन वाला पार्ट होगा वो ही 0 होगा, ठीक है। सो वी विल इक्वेट दिस साइन टर्म to 0. Now as we know that sin pi or n pi equal to 0, so this omega dt plus phi will be equal to pi. Okay, so this uh, now we have to find the value of t, and that t will be given as the rise time of the system. अब यहाँ से जो t की वैल्यू निकालेंगे और वही जो t होगा वही हमारा राइज टाइम हो जाएगा, ठीक है। अब t की वैल्यू निकालने के लिए फाई इधर जाएगा माइनस हो जाएगा, ओमेगा d से डिवाइड हो जाएगा, तो द राइज टाइम विल बी गिवन एज दिस। नाउ वी विल मूव टू आवर नेक्स्ट स्पेसिफिकेशन। Now moving on to delay time. Delay time is given as this graph, in which the response become 50% of its steady state value. So to find delay time, we will do similar thing as we have done in rise time, but we have to put 0.5 instead of 1. So now let's see what will happen. This is the whole response output we have got in our previous derivation, and now we have to put ct is equal to 0.5. Okay, so now by rearranging this equation it will look like this, and by solving it by linear approximation method, which is not very much described in the books, the formula of the delay time we get as 1 plus 0.7 zeta upon omega n. ये हमारा delay time का जो है फॉर्मूला हो जाता है। delay time is given as 1 plus 0.7 zeta upon omega n. Now we will move to next parameter, peak time. Peak time is given as the time in which response reaches its first peak. As in the graph, it is shown as this. This is the first peak and this time is known as peak time. ठीक है, ये हम लोग डिस्कस कर चुके हैं। अब यहाँ पे हम लोग देखेंगे कि इसका जो डेरिवेशन है पीक टाइम का वो कैसे हम लोग परफॉर्म करेंगे, ठीक है। तो फॉर पीक टाइम first the response is given as this. Okay, so for finding the peak time we have to differentiate this whole equation. Okay, so it will become 0, and we will differentiate this with respect to t by using multiplication law, and we will get this as our result. Now we will equate this to 0 to find the maximum value, as we know that maxima or minima equal to 0. Okay, so now we will equate this to 0, and we will take this term common, as these both terms has this coefficient, so we will take this common. Okay, and we have understood earlier that this term, let me show you by this term is not equal to 0. So whole term this whole term यहाँ पे जो है ये पूरा 0 के एक बराबर होगा. तो now we will equate this to 0. Okay, now we will rearrange this and get this. Now we will take the cos in the denominator here, and this will become tan. Okay, now omega d upon zeta omega n. Now let's see how we can simplify it further. This was our result in the previous slide, and omega d can be written as omega n under root 1 minus z. So this omega n and omega n will get cancelled. Okay, and as we know that this is sine phi and zeta is cos phi. Okay, it will become tan phi, which is equal to tan omega dt plus phi. So it is given as phi is equal to phi omega dt plus phi. Now this will become 0. As you can see that this look like it will become 0, but no. In terms of radian, we can see 0 is also equal to pi is also equal to 2 pi, 3 pi, n pi. So it will give you not 0 but n pi. So where l equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, मतलब इस तरीके से रहता है ना. मतलब रेडियन और एंगल की जब हम बात करते हैं तो वो 0 नहीं होता, कोई भी चीज वो n पाई रहती है. तो वो n की जगह पे 0 भी हो सकता है, 1, 2 कुछ भी हो सकता है. ठीक है, तो अब यही यहाँ से हमारा जो पीक टाइम आएगा, यही जो टाइम होगा वो पीक टाइम होगा, ये वाला. तो पीक टाइम जो होगा पाई अपॉन ओमेगा डी, वेयर वेयर n इक्वल टू 1. So this is our required peak time. So now we will see about our next parameter. Maximum peak overshoot. Now we have discussed this earlier, that what is maximum peak overshoot. Let's see a brief about it, that in the graph how we represent it. So this difference is our maximum peak overshoot, which is the difference of the response at peak time and the response at steady state. Steady state is represented as C in bracket with infinite. This is called steady state. इसको मतलब इस representation को steady state कहते हैं. और ये जो है ये हमारा रिस्पॉन्स है पीक टाइम पे. तो इन दोनों का जो डिफरेंस होता है वो हमारा मैक्सिमम पीक ओवरशूट होता है, कि एक रिस्पॉन्स मतलब कितना मैक्सिमम वैल्यू तक जा सकता है, वो है हमारा मैक्सिमम पीक ओवरशूट. नाउ वी विल सी दैट हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू डेराइव दिस thing for our particular response that we are getting in this type 1 order 2 system. Okay, so the response of this is given as this, as we have know that. Now we have to find the response as at peak time at CTP. Okay, now we will put TP instead of T, and the value of TP, as we know that it is pi upon omega d. So now we will put up the value here. Omega d, here in this part, omega d will get cancelled out. Okay, and this can be written as omega n under root 1 minus zeta square. So now let's see, and here omega n and omega n will be get cancelled out. Okay, Now as we know that sine pi plus phi is minus sine phi, so here we will have minus, so it will become plus and sine phi, sine phi. Now as we know that this is also equal to sine phi and this is sine phi too, so both will get cancelled out and we will get CTP as this 1 plus e raised to power minus zeta pi upon under root 1 minus zeta square, and C infinite is given as 1. So maximum peak overshoot will be CTP minus C infinite. So 1 and 1 will get cancelled out, plus 1 minus 1 0, and maximum peak overshoot will be this. This is the formula for maximum peak overshoot. Okay. Now let's see what we have to do if we have to find the percentage. For finding the percentage, we have to simply multiply this by 100. Okay. So this is another formula for percentage maximum peak overshoot. And for calculation purpose, for easy calculation in exams, this formula can be more simplified, and let's see how we can do that. So this is cos phi and this is sin phi, pi is here, it will become cot phi. This is a more simplified formula, it will become cot phi. So this is a more simplified formula for calculation perspective. Okay, we can calculate the values more easily by just putting cot phi in our calculators, so it will give more faster results. Now let's see what happened if we change the value of zeta. What happened to peak? Peak will increase or decrease by changing the value of zeta. We will see about it. Let's see over here. This is a graph. Suppose I take zeta is equal to 0.5. Okay, so the response will be given as this for zeta equal to 0.5. Now suppose if I decrease the value of zeta, so the oscillations will increase and peak also will increase. So it will look like for 0.2, let's suppose I take the value 0.2, for zeta is equal to 0.2, the response will look like this. The peak will increases and the oscillations too. Okay, so if we decrease the value of zeta, the peak will increase, and if I increase the value of zeta, the peak will decrease. Let's see if I increase the value of zeta, what happens. This is zeta at 0.8. This one here, 0.8. Now if I further increase the value to 0.9, the peak will decrease. Okay, and if I put this value to 1, then what happened? Then it will become critically damped system. Whose response is given as this, as we have studied it. Okay, no peak, nothing. तो इसमें हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि जीटा की वैल्यू जैसे जैसे हम लोग घटाएंगे तो ऑसिलेशन हमारे सिस्टम में जो है बढ़ेंगे. ठीक है, ये मतलब एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन पूछ लेता है कि जीटा की वैल्यू बढ़ाने या घटाने पे हमारा क्या असर पड़ता है, या 2-4 फंक्शन दे देगा और पूछ लेगा कि इसमें जो है मैक्सिमम पीक किसका जाएगा किसका नहीं जाएगा. तो उस पर्पस के लिए ये समझना इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जीटा की वैल्यू अगर हम लोग कम करेंगे तो पीक हमारा इंक्रीज करेगा, ऑसिलेशंस भी बढ़ेंगे, और जीटा की वैल्यू बढ़ाएंगे तो पीक डिक्रीज करेगा और ऑसिलेशंस भी कम होंगे. I hope you guys have an understanding about it, and now let's move on to our next parameter. Okay, time constant. As I have told you, time constant is given as minus 1 upon real part of smallest pole, real part and smallest pole, or you can say modulus of it. In this case, our poles are given as this minus zeta omega n plus minus j omega d, or omega n under root 1 minus zeta square. So the real part is this, only this. This is our real part. So the time constant will be given as minus 1 upon minus zeta omega n, minus will get cancelled, and the time constant will be given as 1 upon zeta omega n. Okay. So now we will move to our next parameter, which is very important and a little conceptual to understand. Settling time. Settling time as a graphical representation is shown as this. It is a time in which the output gets settled to its steady state value. तो अब इसको थोड़ा सा मैं हिंदी में समझाता हूँ, क्योंकि इसमें थोड़ा सा मतलब कैच है। इसमें कैच क्या है कि जैसे कभी कभी होता है कि आउटपुट हमारा जो है स्टेडी स्टेट वैल्यू के 95% पे सेट होता है, ठीक है, और कभी कभी होता है कि 98% तक ले जाते, कंप्लीट 100% नहीं हो पाता। तो वो जो थोड़ी सी मतलब 5% और 2% का हमारा जो मार्जिन है, ये इसको हम लोग कहते हैं स्टेडी स्टेट एरर। वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट इट इन आवर नेक्स्ट सेशन। फर्स्ट डिस्कस हियर अबाउट सेटलिंग टाइम, ठीक है। तो अगर हमारा आउटपुट जो है 95% पे सेट हो रहा है, इफ द एक्चुअल रिस्पॉन्स मतलब 95% ऑफ द एक्चुअल रिस्पॉन्स, तो वो 100 से कितना कम है, 5%, तो इसको हम लोग कहेंगे 5% टॉलरेंस। वी विल कॉल इट एज 5% टॉलरेंस, ओके। एंड द सेटलिंग टाइम इज गिवन एज at 5% tolerance or the 95% of actual response, the settling time is given as 3 into tau, 3 times of time constant, 3 times of time constant. And in the second case, which is being settled to 98% of the actual response, okay, so out of 100 there is 2% remaining, so it will be called as 2% tolerance. For 2% tolerance, it is given as 4 times of time constant or 4 into tau. Okay, this is our settling time for both the cases. क्वेश्चन आते हैं तो क्वेश्चन में हमारा इसी तरीके से पूछता है कि 5% टॉलरेंस या 2% टॉलरेंस पे कितना होगा। कभी कभी ज्यादा घुमाने की कोशिश में वो कहता है कि 95% पे सेट हुआ या 98% तक गया, इस तरीके से वर्डिंग हमारी यूज करता है वो। तो इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट स्टेडी स्टेट रिस्पॉन्स एंड स्टेडी स्टेट एरर। along with that we will solve numericals related to steady state, and after that a particular session for numericals related to time response analysis only. Okay, so let's wind up here and meet you guys in the next session. Until that, thank you for having me, thank you for watching this video, thank you.